Okay, today we're talking about the 10 different locations of hell. This is needed to be talked about because there's a lot of just false teaching and misteaching on hell. Bill Wiese, who's had an encounter where he went to hell for 23 minutes, but is also one of the most humble guys I've ever met, godly guys I've ever met, knows the Bible better than anyone I've ever met, can quote scripture like crazy, had him at my church, had him on my channel a bunch of times. He explains the 10 different locations of hell. So we're going to watch this. We're going to react to it. I won't pause it very much. Kind of just going to watch it. Here we go. 10 different
Hi,
locations
my
of
name
hell.
is Bill Wiese, and thank you so much for watching. I want to talk to you today about the different locations of hell. Now, there are 10 different words or phrases used to represent hell, and each has their separate meaning and place. The words are...
Most people thought there was one, which is just hell. And there's a misunderstanding that there's actually more than just one location or one specific thing on hell, which is why I'm wanting to watch this video and cover
as
this.
follows: Sheol, Hades, the pit; Gehenna, the lake of fire; Tophet, outer darkness; the abyss, bottomless pit; and Tartarus.
That's a lot. That's a lot. We've been taught one hell. That's a lot of different things.
Number one, Sheol. Sheol is the Hebrew word for the current hell. The meaning of the word in the Strong's Concordance is realm of death. Now, this is the location people exist in now who never put their trust in Jesus Christ for their salvation. The word Sheol is used 61 times in the Old Testament. In the King James Version, 31 times it uses the word hell, and 30 times it uses the word grave. However, the word grave in those 30 instances should be the word hell, because it is the word Sheol. So
Wow.
all 61 times it is the word Sheol. Now, the word for grave is the word kiber, which means a burial site in the Hebrew. So Sheol should not be used as a synonym for the grave. A grave is for private use for the one, and Sheol is for the public for the many. Now, Sheol means realm of death, or world of the dead. Now, in the Old Testament, Sheol held both the righteous and the wicked. It was divided by a great gulf fixed, or gorge in the earth. In Luke 16, the rich man
Okay,
was...
so in the Old Testament, that's interesting. Sheol was righteous and unrighteous, because obviously the cross hadn't happened yet. So they're both in Sheol, but there was a chasm separating the righteous from the unrighteous. Interesting.
In the torment side, and Abraham and Lazarus were in Abraham's bosom, the place of comfort. Now, after Jesus rose from the dead, he took those who were in Abraham's bosom out and brought them to heaven. And this is mentioned in Matthew 27:52.
So most people don't realize that. Everybody that was in Abraham's bosom, which was Sheol, but a different part of it, but the place of comfort, Jesus took them all out of that place. Jesus literally went into hell, took them out of the place of comfort to bring them into heaven, because there was no atonement yet. So they were just waiting basically for the New Testament.
53, Ephesians 4:8-9, and some other places. Now, only the torment side of Hades exists down deep within the earth. It's interesting that when Jesus arose from the dead, this astonishing occurrence happened. In Matthew 27:52 and 53, it says, "And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had died were raised, and coming out of the graves after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many." So many who had previously died were raised up at the time Jesus was resurrected. They were given a body which could be seen by others in the city. How strange would that be to see some that had died? Now, some scholars say these were the first fruits, those who were in Abraham's bosom, to be presented to the Father. And Jesus probably took them to heaven when he ascended, as Ephesians 4:8 and 9 state. Now, all who ever believed in the one true God up until the resurrection were in Abraham's bosom. Now, another person mentioned who was in Abraham's bosom is in this next verse. In 1 Samuel 28:13-15, King Saul went to the witch of Endor because he wanted to bring up the prophet Samuel, who had died earlier. Now, Samuel was alive in the comfort side of Sheol, or Abraham's bosom. It says, "I saw a spirit ascending out of the earth." So Saul said to her, "What is his form?" And she said, "An old man is coming up, and he is covered with a mantle." And Saul perceived that it was Samuel. So Samuel was ascending out of the earth from Abraham's bosom as God allowed this unusual event. It had nothing to do with the witch of Endor bringing him up, but it was God for many reasons which we will not go into here. Now, number two, the second word, Hades, is the Greek word for the current hell and is synonymous with Sheol. Its meaning in the Strong's is place of the dead. the underworld. So the location of hell is now in the lower parts of the earth, as Ezekiel 26:20 and Numbers 16:32 and 33 state, along with 47 other verses. Now this is where the rich man exists, as Jesus told us in Luke 16. This is also where every unbeliever exists today, experiencing torment, awaiting the judgment day. Now the third word, pit. In the Old Testament, there are 13 different words for the word pit. Well, 5 of those words are used to represent the current hell. They are Sheol, Bower, Shashat, Beer, and Mahamrat. Now, each word reflects a different aspect of hell, such as the place of departed spirits, slime pit, dungeon, well, shaft, miry pits, corruption, and decay. So this word pit is used 39 times in the Old Testament to represent hell. Now, number 4, the word Gehenna. It's a Greek word for the Hebrew phrase Valley of Hinnom. Jesus used this word 11 times to describe hell, and James used it once in James 3:6. This is the future hell, the lake of fire, where people will go after the judgment day. This next commentary describes the Valley of Hinnom. Nelson's New Illustrated Bible Dictionary, it says, hell, the place of eternal punishment for the unrighteous. Hell also translates Gehenna, the Greek form of the Hebrew phrase that means the Valley of Hinnom. In the time of Jesus, the Valley of Hinnom was used as the garbage dump of Jerusalem. Into it were thrown all the filth and garbage of the city, including the dead bodies of animals and executed criminals. To consume all this, fires burned constantly.
Wow,
maggots worked in the
that is
filth.
crazy.
When the wind blew from that direction over the city, its awfulness was quite evident. At night, wild dogs howled as they fought over the garbage. Jesus used this awful scene as a symbol of hell. In effect, he said, do you want to know what hell is like? Look at Gehenna.
Ugh.
Number 5, the phrase, the lake of fire. And this is in Revelation 19:20, 20:10, 20:14, 20:15, and 21:8. This is the future hell, which is after the judgment day. Now, no one occupies it at this time. In Revelation 19:20, it mentions that the beast and the false prophet will be its first occupants at the end of the tribulation. Also, in Revelation 20:10, it states that these two individuals are still there after the 1,000-year millennium. So all who go to hell will be there forever, as Revelation 14:10 and 11 state, Matthew 25:41 and 46, 1 Thessalonians 1:8-9, and many other verses. Now in Revelation 20...
By the way, if you ever hear him preach, he will literally quote scripture like that the entire sermon with no notes or anything. He just quotes it off memory. It's unbelievable. This guy's a walking Bible.
12 through 15, it states that all the inhabitants of the current hell will be cast into the lake of fire at Judgment Day. In addition, Satan himself will be cast into the lake of fire, as Revelation 20:10 states. Now, number 6, the word Tophet is the particular place in the Valley of Hinnom. Nelson's New Illustrated Bible Dictionary says, Tophet, a place southeast of Jerusalem in the Valley of Hinnom where child sacrifices were offered and the dead bodies were burned or consumed. Number 7, the term outer darkness. Now, Jesus also mentioned outer darkness 3 times where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. And that's in Matthew 8:12, Matthew 22:13, and Matthew 25:30. That term possibly may represent hell's location after Judgment Day, which may no longer be within the earth, possibly deep space. Now, one verse that may also indicate this is Revelation 20:14, which says, death and hell, or the word Hades, were cast into the lake of fire. Well, if the current hell remained in the earth after Judgment Day, why then state that it will be delivered up and cast into the lake of fire? That indicates the lake of fire is a separate place and probably deep space, as the term outer darkness may indicate. Now, number 8, the word abyss. It's the Greek word abusos, and it means in the Strong's deep place, underworld, abode of the dead and demons, unfathomable depth. Now, this is the place for demons. One of the demons asked Jesus in Luke 8:31, and the demons besought him that he would not command them to go out into the deep. And the word deep there is the word abyss. The word used there is the Greek word abusos. This is the same word mentioned in the book of Revelation 7 times as bottomless pit. So the abyss and bottomless pit are synonymous. Number 9, the bottomless pit, that term. Its meaning is The abusos, again, the phrase bottomless pit, is used 7 times in Revelation, and 2 times only the word pit is used, but they all represent a pit for demons. And the word pit in the New Testament is the Greek word phreer, and it means bottomless, the abyss, well, or shaft. Now, some have asked the question, if the pit is located in the earth, how can there be no bottom? Well, Dr. Chuck Missler said this, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, it may be right at the center of the earth. From the center of the earth, there is no bottom because all directions are up. And that is an interesting observation. Now, in Revelation 11:7 and 17:8, the demon that possesses the Antichrist also arises out of the bottomless pit. In Revelation 22, at the end of the tribulation, Satan himself is bound for 1,000 years in the bottomless pit. Now, number 10, the word Tartarus. In 2 Peter 2:4, it states, "For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, to Tartarus, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment." Now, this word is only used 1 time in the Bible. The Greek word is Tartaro. The meaning in the Strong's Concordance is place of torture and torment lower than Hades, used in Greek and Jewish literature. Now, this refers to the place where the rebellious angels who left their first estate or their angelic form and had become men had physical relations with women and produced offspring that were giants on the earth. And this rebellion occurred prior to the great flood of Noah in Genesis 6:4. Now, this is also mentioned in Jude 6 and 7. So this is the special place just reserved for those rebellious fallen angels. So each distinct region and word for hell provides us with additional insight and describes different demonic creatures that may be held in each place. So to sum it up, Sheol, Hades, and the pit mentioned in the Old Testament all represent the place where people exist currently. Now, Gehenna and the lake of fire and outer darkness represent the future hell where people will go after the great white throne judgment day. Also, Satan and most of his demons are also likely cast into the lake of fire, as it says in Revelation 20:10. Now, the words abyss, abusos, the bottomless pit, and Tartarus each represent where demons are currently assigned, each area perhaps having certain fallen angels and demons. Now, I hope this teaching brought clarity for you regarding...
That's really, really good, guys. I'm going to put that link down below in the description. You should check out all of his videos. There's nobody that talks about hell the way he does or the insight that he has. And it's a topic that we have to talk about. Jesus warned people about it everywhere. We need to talk about it. We need to know about it. And we need to make sure we never go there. Hell is 1,000% avoidable because of the cross. You can avoid hell. I promise you never want to go there. You want to be in heaven with Christ. So you need to do whatever you can to serve him and to follow him so you never end up going there. We're live Monday night with Bible teaching and Thursday night at 5 o'clock with our podcast. Pray about becoming a monthly partner down below, and I'll link Bill Wiese's video down below. Go subscribe to his channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video. God bless.